Hi, everybody. So, welcome again to my podcast channel. And for those who just tuned in to my channel, welcome. This is already my episode 2. And for those who have listened to episode 1, thank you very much. I received a lot of feedbacks, and I think there are a lot of us who have, not just an alcohol problem at home, but also, problem and conflict within the family. And you know what? It molds us, it can either break you or build you. And for those who really had the same or similar story as mine, who took courage to message me, be strong. If I can do it, then somehow I pray that it gives you comfort, and you also find the courage to to rise from it. Okay. So, what is my episode 2 all about? You have seen the cover art, and if you have, if you are my personal friend, I have also given like a sneak peek of it on my personal accounts. It's Unfiltered Motherhood, Unfiltered, because these are really my raw thoughts, these are my experiences, and this is it really bothered me at some point, and I wanted to rise from this and to share with this, because most probably there is someone, or there is a mother out there who is experiencing this and can't get out of the situation. So yeah, Unfiltered Motherhood is about the time that I got pregnant, the time that I was the entire pregnancy, and of course the time that I gave birth, all the way to handling it, let's just say, for a year as a single mom. Are you ready? Let's go. So it all started, of course, 2019. Yeah, 2019 of March. I remember that. You know what? If you are a woman, especially at this age of mine, I'm very particular and very keen about my body. I know when my period will come, and let's just face it, I was active at that time, so I was really on point on trying to track my period and everything. Don't follow me, guys, especially the young women out there who listens to me. I am already at a period of my life where I will take accountability for anything. I was already 30 years old when I got pregnant. So what else should I lose from this? There was so much that I had done in my life. If you've been listening to my episode 1, just what else? Like, everything was a yes for me, everything was a go for me, because I have reached a point in my life where if whatever blessing will come, I don't need to think about it. It's always a yes. It really came to that point. So when I found out that I got pregnant, it was on a Holy Week. It was a Holy Week. And for the entire Holy Week, I was not calm. There were certain times that I did not like the smell of the fish. I was nauseous. There is already a feeling that I may be pregnant. There was a feeling, and I had so much mixed emotions. I was getting anxious. I don't know what to do. Although I was mentally ready. I was kind of mentally ready for it. But if it's really there, you don't know. You just don't know. There's just so much emotions going on at that time. So I waited until Easter. I can never forget that. I waited until Easter before I had the courage to take the blood tests. I did not go for the urine, and I really went to the laboratory, had my blood taken to make sure if I was really pregnant. So yeah, so when I got the result, I was crying. I was overjoyed. Actually, there was the joy was more than the anxious part, because I did not know that I was capable of getting pregnant. I did not know, because I was already in my 30s. So I'm like, I was an only child, and getting pregnant in our family was, we are a family of laon, if you know what I mean. We are a family of single people. So for me to get pregnant, it was already like 1 in 100, like seriously. So yeah, I called a very close friend of mine, to pick me up at the laboratory, and I was in a limbo. I did not know how to say it, especially to the people around me. You know why? Because I understand that I was in a mindset of, I did not care what others would think about me. At that time, I did not care anymore. I already lived a life of trying to say yes to everyone. I think it's about time that I say yes to myself. That was my thought at that time. But the thing here is, I'm stuttering. The thing here is, how do I say this to my mom? How do I say this to my partner at that time? And most especially, how do I say it to a lot of people? I was scared. I was scared because I was a teacher. I am a teacher. And of course, judgment has to come. Personal opinion will really bombard me, and I was ready for it. I was ready for it, because I felt like I already had a feeling that I am more a mother than a partner. For some reason, there was already a premonition for me to welcome motherhood, and just motherhood. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. So yeah, so when I told my mom about it, there were a lot of talks, but my mom was like, it's a blessing. Let's go. We just lost our dad at that time, and we felt like there is another man in the house when I got pregnant. In my partner's side, of course, it was not embraced fully at the beginning. It was not embraced fully at the beginning. I don't want to deal a lot with my partner's side, but it is what it is. It was already in my mindset that whatever happens to me, my priority at that time would be for my child, would be for my unborn child. Now, the third anxiety that I had was, of course, the people around me. The fact that I was a teacher, of course, if you're a teacher, you are a model for everybody. Was I prepared for a backlash? Yeah, I was. If I was even prepared if I was to be terminated. But I did not have a relation with a student. Like, no, not my student. It was from another department, and he's already of age, so I did not violate anything. But people, Filipinos, yeah, you have that. So I was prepared. If I was to lose this job, then I can just go back to being a nurse again. It doesn't matter. I was just ready. I was just ready. So when I told my bosses about this, of course I got scared. Let's face it, I have to be accountable to this, because even though if I say I did not care, it would really reflect to the people around me. That's where I got a little worried about it. But you know what? God is just so good, because the time that I transferred work, I was blessed to be a part of, to be part of the people, part of these people who are very, very supportive and understanding. You have no idea how they've welcomed me getting pregnant, the baby, everybody. Everybody from my work it was just a ball of comfort. Every single day when I go to work, it's just, yeah, I have never felt the discrimination nor the judgment, because they made me secured. They made me secured, and thank God I was able to slowly announce, to everyone that I am pregnant. So yeah, I think the point here is the happiness of getting pregnant is beyond than the fear of other people. What the fear of what other people would think of me. I did not care about that. I did not at all. Yeah, so that was the beginning when I found out that I was pregnant. Now, in my entire pregnancy, of course, there were things that I had to endure, but I chose to block it off and not listen to it, because I do not need it at that time. No, I don't need it at that time. It would affect my unborn child. It would stress me out. So I'd rather deal with this when I deliver. You know what? In the entire pregnancy, of course, I saw the stares. I heard words, and there were just a lot of things that I am not supposed to hear and see. As a pregnant woman, people will really have a say no matter what you do. So that is why I always put into mind that they're not gonna help me when I give birth, so why would I even care, right? The only thing that I was worried about was or the young girls who were looking up at me at that time, especially the students. The fact the ironic part here is I was a biology teacher, and I tend to insert that, and I said, we are discussing about life. I love to create life, but the thing here is it has to be on a perfect time. And I said to them, if you can get married, then why not? But for some reason, there are options or choices and situations in life that is not really for you. As I've said, it is always tailor-made. And as I go along my entire pregnancy, that's when I slowly realized that I am better off as a mother. Just a mother. You know what? I'm just gonna discuss this in another episode, that I'm really having a hard time compromising. I can't. For if you are too dependent, if you have been so dependent in your life, yeah, it is a struggle. It is always a struggle for me. And yeah, for the entire pregnancy that I had, I was real. The only thing that really kept me holding on was the support system that I had. It was so strong, especially from my department. Of course, my strength, because I am the type of person that did not care about what other people think. Like, I did not care. I'm happy with this. Look, guys, I'm 30. Like, give me a break, alright? I don't know. Probably this is just going to be my first and last pregnancy. I don't even know that. And the third is, I confessed to my God. And whatever is my heart's desires and my heart's worries, He is the only one who has the right to know it. Other than that, I don't owe anyone an explanation. So yeah, that's the internal struggle I had when I was pregnant. Now, here comes my delivery. I would never forget this because, as I've said, this was not a planned pregnancy, but it's not something that it's like it was not an accident. Okay. Financially speaking, I was kind of ready, but I was not ready for the unexpected. During the time that I was to give birth, it was around December, I had my labor, and the labor that I had went for 18 hours. I know some women went beyond 18. I went for 18 hours, and then at that time, thank God there was no pandemic yet. We went to Hospital 1, but unfortunately there was no room available at that time, so I was transferred to another hospital. Now the thing here is, when I was still at my house, my bag of water already popped, and I cannot afford not to have immediate labor because it's already open. So there is already a risk for infection. So my OB was trying to get me into labor so that there is, the infection will not go to the baby, blah, blah, blah. So when I went to hospital too, my goodness, I would not want to get pregnant ever again. You know why? Labor pains, I can't describe it. I'd rather want to be stabbed than have labor pains. I'm not even kidding, guys. The labor pains can really reach up to your soul. Plus the fact that I was induced by my OB because I had to deliver soon ASAP. So I was induced for like an hour. That full hour was like hell. I was praying to all the saints from the book. Like, you cannot imagine. It was torture. And the funny thing, when I was at the labor room, I went in at 10 in the morning, and then you're not to go out up until we deliver. I was the first one at the labor room, and then I was induced. I was waiting for labor and everything. There were already several women that came in and out of the delivery room. Like, I was already there at 10, so the women that came in already gave birth. So another one came in, and then they gave birth. I was still there around lunchtime, around in the afternoon. I was walking around. I was doing squats, because I enjoyed it because I had to deliver soon. But you know what? It was already almost 10, almost 8, 10. There you go. 8, 9, there you go. That I was the last or the only woman inside the labor room. Ako na lang yung bilin, guys. I was the first and the last inside the labor room. Still, the problem was I was not able to dilate fully. The dilation has to reach up to 10 centimeters. I was only 7 cm for like 12 hours. So it was not progressing. No matter what we did, I was already induced. I was already walking around. I was squatting, everything. And I was already getting tired because I was not allowed to eat at that time. So my doctor said, if in another hour there's no progress and you don't have any signs to give birth, then we have to go for cesarean section. My world crashed. Like, it was just, oh my God. Not because I had to go under the knife, not because I was in an emergency situation, but because I don't know what will happen to my wallet. Cesarean section, guys, is makes me want to weep every time I remember it. But I had no choice. It was the safety of my baby that was at stake, because I was already in labor for 18 hours. I had my labor was not progressing, but my bag of water was already open. So it means that the baby was already exposed to the outside world for a long time. So yeah, I have no choice. I undergone emergency cesarean section. If it's an emergency cesarean section, guys, we don't wait for blood anymore. You just go under the knife without your blood, and you just pray to God that you don't go hypovolemic shock or loss of blood in the entire operation. And they had to do this fast, like really, really, really fast. I was in and out. I was about to collapse because I have not eaten since that morning. I was already tired. If I had want to delivered normally, I would not have any power anymore, so I'm just gonna end up with CS still. So cesarean section, I was already at the OR bed. There were 2 big IV bottles. Of course, I did not have blood standby, so they just have to infuse those 2 bottles like on a full blast. Everything went in. I was fighting, of course. I was already like, I have to be strong on this. You know what? When I had the anesthesia, oh my goodness, I did not know what is happening anymore, because I had to undergo spinal anesthesia for that. It was really painful, guys. It was a long needle. It has to be inserted on your back, and they had to really make it fast, so that they had to open me in a span of what? It was like 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes. They did it for 10 minutes. Anesthesia, and then I was cut open, everything, and then baby out. Now, during the time that when they were trying to take my baby out, I really heard the nurse said to the anesthesiologist, 5-7. 5 something. Wait, let me recall that. 50, 70 something, 5. Yeah, I think my BP went down, like really down. So they really had to infuse another 2 bottles. Like, I know what's going on, but I was like in and out. I was so out of it. I even asked my anesthesiologist when he asked me, "Mom, are you okay?" I asked him, "Can I eat Jollibee after this?" What the hell? Why did I even ask that? Like, maybe the anesthesia was making me, I don't know. I was already tired at that time, and then the doctor was just laughing at me, and he said, "Yes, ma'am, if you are already out and the anesthesia worn off, you can eat Jollibee." Like, it was so funny. But anyways, yeah, when I heard my baby cried, God, it's really true when they say, when you will hear your baby cry the moment that you give birth, all your pain gone. I'm not even kidding, because there is that sense of relief. A big rock was removed from your head, from your body, from your shoulder, knowing that your baby is okay. And they clean him a little, and then they reached out 30 to me. I kissed him. I wanna cry every time I remember that. Yeah, and yeah, they took him. He was a big boy. He was really a big boy. I was so happy. So there was the time that the anesthesia went in up to the time they took out the baby, it was just short. The longer time was when they were already suturing me. There were a lot of layers down there, guys, like, I'm not even kidding. So after that, everything was in a blurry. I was done. I was returned to my room, and yeah, I fell asleep like a dead person. I was so tired. I was so tired at that time. And I was able to see 30 the next day when I went to the nursery. You know, the feeling of, oh my god, this little creature came out from me. Like, really? He was a big boy. There were like, he was on the healthy baby part of the nursery. Like, he has no oxygen, nothing. And there were 4 babies on his row. He was big, man. He was big. I am not even kidding. He was big. He was a good baby, because the babies from his row were crying a lot. He was just sleeping. He was just sleeping, you know. And the only time that he would be fuzzy when he is hungry, and then if it's done, then he go to sleep again. He was just a good baby. Every time that I remember seeing him, like holding him for the first time. Oh, I remember when I was at the I forgot, after the operation, I had to go to the post anesthesia unit first before I went straight to my room. I really asked to see my baby. You know, even though I was half paralyzed, you know, I could not move my feet, people. I was half paralyzed. I really asked the nurse, may I see my baby? You know, I want to see him before I go out here, before anything else. And yeah, the nurses allowed me, because I was the only one at that time at the PACU. And yeah, it was just a nice experience. And all the nurses kept telling me, oh, your baby is so handsome. Your baby is so handsome. Everybody kept telling me that. Thank you. So yeah, it was the third day, I think. No, second day, when 30 was allowed to sleep with me. Yeah, he was at the nursery for 2 nights, because he was to check. He was my pedia was making sure that he had no infection, because my bag of water opened for a long time already. So my pedia make sure that he had no infection before, you know, he was to room in with me. And you know what? He was just so hungry all the time. Like, I could not. He can drain me with my milk and everything. I was praying to God that let us be discharged, because I cannot with the entire exclusive breastfeeding thing. I was struggling, guys. I was really struggling. It was so funny. Yeah, it was so funny. So up until, I think we stayed there for 4 days, and then on the 4th day we were now discharged. You know what? I was just, yeah, I can hear him crying if you have good audio. I did not know where to get the money. You know, I only have enough for a normal delivery, but at that time it was so unexpected that I had to undergo cesarean section. Like, oh my goodness, you know, I did not think of the money. I just prayed to God that help is gonna come, because the priority at that time was my son's safety. So yeah, you know, God did provide. God did provide. And somehow, you know, even though you have debts up until now, you just try to take things one step at a time, right? So yeah, thank you for those who have helped me, you know, thank you very much. So yeah, anyways, so when I came home, I came home at 30. I came home a new person. I did not know myself. Who am I? Who am I? So yeah, the moment that I returned home, that's where the journey of single motherhood began. You know what, guys? I'm not saying that I had no support system. I I have up until now. Of course, my mom is already always there. It's already a given. But the changes of a woman, she really has to do it alone. The acceptance of singlehood all the way to motherhood is not a spontaneous thing. Like, yeah, I got it. No, it's not. If you're a first time mom, there is always separation anxiety from who you were before. And if you know me personally, I have a life of, a go-getter. Everything, it was always a yes for me. But the time that I became a mother, every decision, every word, every act I have to do must always reflect and must always have consideration to my son's, welfare. Like, it's not about me anymore. I don't have the right to be like me all the time. It's not like that anymore. But along the way, I have understand that self-care and self-worth must come first before motherhood. Why am I saying this? Because I cannot pour from an empty cup. My son needs a mother who is happy and healthy. It's not like it's not being unfair, because if I keep giving and giving without realizing the kind of support and the people around me is feeding to me, it will reflect on my son. I hope you understand what I mean. It's like it just came to a point that I had to face conflicts and issues. I did not face them before when I was pregnant because I don't want to stress myself. There were already problems between me and my partner at that time, but I just did not want to discuss it. I did not want to face it because my utmost priority was for me to give birth, in a normal and healthy way. But the moment that I gave birth, there were a lot of changes within me that I refused to accept. And that was when I realized, probably 6 months going to postpartum, that I was already having postpartum anxiety. It was already leading to depression when pandemic struck. At that time, guys, I was in a maternity leave, and of course people, oh, you have maternity benefits, you have blah blah blah. Yeah, I have, but those the benefit that I had was reimbursed already for my hospital bills. So I had none at that time. What I had was what is left from my savings and every fund that I had. And then I was already expecting to return to work probably around June, at that time. And I had a part-time job already around Feb or March at that time. Remember, I gave birth in December. But you know what? Pandemic came. So yeah, I was not prepared for it. It was again another unexpected, situation. Where would I get that? It's like, oh my goodness, every time that I remember that, it makes me want to cry and and then pat myself for being able to survive that situation. So yeah, I had no job. I have a newborn baby. I have issues. I was having postpartum issues. I was just in a wreck at that time. My partner was not here, and he was also doing his thing with what is needed for his life. But if I were not given the support that I needed at that time, things got rocky. things did not go according to plan at all. Everything was shaken. Every plan on my list, nothing. It did not happen at all. But I consider those times as a blessing, because if it did not happen, I think I would not realize my worth even more. Because if those things did not happen, I would just be a mother that is, a new time mother, and that's it. Now, because of those experiences, I have realized along my postpartum that I have to give myself a priority as well. As I've said, my son needs a healthy and happy mother. So for me to have that, I really cut off the toxic people in my life, and that includes the father of my child. I don't want to go into details, but if that kind of person has rattled me in my entire pregnancy and will give me more toxicity up until my postpartum period, then my son is going to suffer, and I will not allow that. And it took me a lot of courage to say to myself again that every word and every decision and action that I will do will always be for my son's welfare. So that's what led me to become a single mother. You know what? A single mother is, again, a taboo that some of us cannot. I can hear my son now. It's a taboo that we do not talk about a lot. But the moment that I will share this, and I think when I share this podcast of mine to a lot of people, they told me that there are similar stories as mine. And you know what, ladies, to all the single mother out there, you matter so much. It doesn't have to be you being a martyr. You don't have to be a martyr. You don't have to suffer so much, because you have to be selfish at this point. You really have to make sure that you are genuinely happy. You have to make sure that you know your worth, you know that you are loved, and you know that you are worth it, because it will really reflect on your children. That is why I am very happy for the entire pandemic up until now. My son is not sickly. He is a very happy boy. He's a very happy boy because, his mother chose genuine happiness. And that is all that matters. That is all that matters. So yes, guys, that is all about unfiltered motherhood from the day that I got pregnant all to now. To my mindset now. I think now during the time that I was talking about this and recording this podcast, I have realized, where the hell did I get that strength? Where the hell did I got that, that inner strength to overcome those things? Like I'm not even sure where, but I'm just very happy that I am able to reach a point of healing, to reach a point of realizations, and to reach a point of mastering courage to share this to everybody. So thank you for listening once again. I hope that you did not, I did not. I can't say if this is lighter than the previous episode that I had, but I hope it gave you comfort. It's more than just being a single mother here. It's more than just trying to become a mother. It's really more on being yourself, finding your happiness, and not give a damn about other people's opinion about you. Your happiness will not come from them. It will always start within you, and it will radiate in to out. Okay, so yeah, thank you for listening again to my episode 2, guys. I'm asking you to stay tuned for the audiogram of this on YouTube on next week, before I will launch again the episode 3. So see you all for next week, for another episode. Have a good heart, have a strong heart, and protect your peace at all times. Bye.